It's like my
Hello, and thank you for tuning into the Stuff I Heard. Pro-
yeah. You want to try that again? Let's do
thank you
that.
for
Let's do that again.
hello. All right,
You can tell this is not what is it called?
karaoke take two. Hello, and thank you for tuning into the Stuff I Heard podcast. I'm your host Joshua Peak, and I have Dolores with me again. Hi, baby doll.
Hi.
So this is a professional podcast, so you got to like make sure that you're, saying the right things and not having to repeat yourself like I just did in the opening. So, yeah,
Boy, we need to fire our production crew. It's too bad it's you.
I know. Apparently, I need to fire me and get a better person doing this.
And I've got like headphone difficulties over here. I mean,
Why?
I don't know. Does somebody else come in here and do a podcast when I'm not here?
Um, I mean, it is Christmas time. Maybe Santa came in and adjusted your headphones.
Maybe I wear a hat sometimes when I'm sitting in here.
You do wear a hat a lot.
Or maybe my hair's different, or
I
my
wish I could put a camera on you because right now you look
then
adorable.
to shoot. No, got no makeup
Oh
on.
yeah,
In my PJs.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's the cool thing about being off camera.
You're doing it the right way. I'm the face of this thing.
Yeah.
Oh, how about that? Yeah.
Goodness.
All going downhill from here.
It is. It is. We need to switch lanes quickly.
So anyway, we're getting ready for Christmas time and doing a little bit of shopping. So if you guys are watching this on YouTube, you'll see boxes behind me and some wrapping paper over here, but you can't see anything because it's like I'm in front of the camera. So how about that? But anyway, Christmas is getting taken care of thanks to you.
Yes, and I've got to wrap some Christmas presents that I've already bought, and I don't know. I have a lot of boxes. I don't know. Seems like I've had this thing about making sure that I have enough boxes to wrap stuff in, although the stuff that I order comes in boxes. I'm not sure where the thought analogy is on that one.
I don't know. It's almost like a feast or famine mentality of if I don't save the boxes, I'm going to need the box, and then I don't have the box, and I'm going to need a box, and I have to have the box, and then you get the
Okay.
stuff in a box, and then you open the box, and you're like, oh look, I got to put this in another box.
I'm also the same way with wrapping paper.
I know.
I know I spend
Can you see that
way.
wrapping paper behind me?
That's just
That's
one
one
can.
of the tubs.
Yes.
So it was. Listen, I like the fact that you would buy it from the kids
I still do. I still do.
different, fundraisers because they do have good paper.
They have really good paper, and it's going. I've always bought from the school fundraisers. I want to say I'm not sure the name brand, but there is a certain kind of wrapping paper that they sell that is that's great. It's good quality.
Yeah.
I love wrapping paper, and I've also have this weird, and I know that it is one of my quirks of my many quirks. I do not like to have a lot of presents under the tree wrapped in the same paper. And if you place them under the tree, paper that match, I can't have the same wrapping paper sitting beside another box wrapped in the same paper.
So you don't want it to look like you've wrapped all of the boxes with the
With
same
one
paper.
no, without no. I'm not one of those. Never have been. I mean, I probably
Okay.
if we went over there and counted right now, I'm sure there would be at least probably 25 rolls of wrapping paper, all different kinds of wrapping paper.
We should do a quiz on here and get people vote. How many rolls of wrapping paper do you think we have? More than 25 or less than 25?
And I think some of them are double sided. I try
Double-sided.
when I buy from the schools,
So
I
if you
try to
have
do the double sided.
If it's double sided, do you count that as 2 rolls?
I'm not sure. It's still just one roll, but it's two different options on
Okay.
paper.
So if we go with the word roll, then it counts as one.
Yeah.
But if we go with paper, it counts as two.
Yeah.
I like that idea. So unlike you,
And I have to have matching bows and name tags.
yeah,
and
yeah. Before we got together, I did the other version. I just bought
one roll at Walmart
roll.
for $2.99 and wrapped
if I got
everything.
1,000 square feet, I went, cool. Now I can wrap everything. And I just wrapped it all in the same paper.
You bought all yours wrap at Sam's Club.
No, I didn't have a Sam's membership back then. It was I just go to Walmart or the Dollar Tree. The Dollar Tree though, they only give you like 10 feet of
not very
paper.
much, and it's so
super
thin.
Yeah.
Yes.
I was like, I suck at wrapping because every time I do it tears. Well, it's the paper. A lot of that's the paper. It is me, but it's also the paper.
Yeah.
But yeah, again back to the thing of you decorating the Christmas tree and like making it look
To
so
me, the
pretty.
presents under the tree
The presents are part of the
are
presentation.
part of, yes, they are. And I
It has the
love
word
both.
present in it.
Exactly.
Presentation.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we do
Presentation. We should call it
presentation.
presentation.
Yeah, I like the beautiful bows. When we do and I think your work has just started doing, or they did last year, like the
Gift
Secret Santa.
exchange.
Yeah, my work does a little bit different than yours. We do kind of like a Chinese or a white elephant. Not we you bring a
I don't think you're
gift.
supposed to say it's a
I
Chinese
know. I'm
gift.
sorry. I didn't mean it. It's. I always picture like a Chinese fire drill
Yeah.
where everything is like chaotic, and that's kind of what we do. We do a dollar amount. They set a dollar amount. No, well, we don't set a dollar amount. We say it has to be at least this much. You have to spend at least, I think it's $20 or $25. And everybody comes in the room and you set your gift on the table. We have a big, huge conference room. We have nowhere near as many employees as you do. In the office, there's only about maybe 15, 18 of us total, if you count the production heads from out, the leads from outside. But anyway, so you have a table with 15, 20 gifts on it. And when you walk in the room, you draw a number. And then the person that's first gets to pick first, and you can steal. And every year, everybody pretty much knows now, because we've been doing it for a couple of years, the wrapping paper and the bow. I mean, and people will look at the gift if it's their turn, if there's gifts on the table, and they'll be like, I know who wrapped that one. So obviously I have a certain, what is the word?
Vibe
I guess.
or telltale sign.
I get, yeah.
Yeah. So if it was wrapped by me versus you, they would go, "Ooh, there's the one Dolores wrapped."
Yeah, but also, yeah, it true. And you can tell
So
the one.
maybe this year we throw them off. Maybe this year I wrap the present.
Oh no, we're not doing that.
I'm sorry, I forgot you had
I have
standards.
standards.
Can't go in there misrepresenting myself.
But now I work for a steel mill. So one of the things that you have to be, most people pick stuff up and like see how much it weighs. Let's see what this is. This feels heavy. Most of the time we've learned that it's a gift card with a sample bar of steel in it to make it super heavy. So yeah, I mean that's totally different than like where you work, but you do a name draw, like you draw somebody's name, right?
Yeah, we reach into a Santa hat, and shout out to Shatana. She does that for us. She arranged all this. She's like, I found this way works pretty good. She writes down names, whoever's participating. You reach into the Santa hat, and it's all like wadded up pieces of paper, and you have to get yours. And she's like, I don't want to see what it is. It's yours. You look at it. It just can't be your name. Is it your name? And I go, no. And she goes, I don't want to know who it is.
Now, do y'all open gifts one at a time so that everybody can see, or do you
No.
open them like all at one time?
Kind of all at one time.
Okay. So do you try to figure out who had whose name, or do you
There's no real rules to ours.
Okay.
It's some people put their name on it. Last year I saw a guy get something, and then he walked up to the guy and he was like, hey, my wife went to this place and she got this because she knew you were into it or something. And of course I had from me on it because I was just like, yeah, I knew who the guy was giving it to, and it was something he wanted. And anyway, I don't think there's any rules because I noticed I got something and there was no name on it, and nobody ever came to me and said like, hey.
So you don't know who drew your name last year?
No idea.
Wow. Okay.
No idea.
And see, we don't always necessarily figure out who brought what to the table.
There's this weird thing of like, how out of the way should I be like, oh my God, I got this cup and I got 50 cups. Okay, here's the thing for people out there listening. If you're listening to this for Christmas, don't buy anybody cups. Stop buying cups. It's making me crazy. If you're like me, you've got cups that's still sitting in boxes that people are giving you gifts, and you're like, what am I going to do with these cups? I got too many cups. I'm sitting here with a cup right now. Somebody gave me this. Is a cool cup, by the way.
Yeah, Star Wars cup.
But
also too, you're a creature. You are the kind of person that will use one cup for a freaking year.
What's wrong with this cup? It works great. Yeah,
but it's like if we both followed that philosophy, we would only need two drinking cups and one coffee cup each in our cabinet. Period.
Everything else is just excess. I mean, it's just crazy. I got one coffee cup I like.
I know.
I used it today.
I know.
I wish I could use it every day. I broke my other one that was like it.
But you got to have a backup.
The one coffee cup that I broke ever.
But anyway, back to the Christmas. Ours is a little more.
All right.
Ours is more chaotic in the sense that
y'all play games with it.
Yes, and some gifts get stolen so many times. I mean, and every year it can be.
I kind of interrupted your whole theme there. So you get the gift, you draw
Mhm.
a prize, and then people can steal your present.
Yes, people can steal your present if it's
Okay.
their turn. And the rules vary from year to year, and there's always a heated discussion toward the end of the gift exchange as to how many times a gift can be stolen. Because there will be, oh, I just hit the mic. There will be certain gifts that will just get stolen over and over
Because it's the coolest one
because
everyone
it's the
wants.
coolest one everybody wants, right?
Yeah.
Right. I mean, I'm not going to say they're all good gifts, but there will be like I can't even remember one year. I want to say somebody brought a cooler full of processed deer meat because
Ooh.
this person, their family owns a meat processing,
Yeah.
and it had like jerk, it had beef jerky, or maybe it was
Sausages and
sausage. Oh
jerky
yeah,
and
and
steaks,
it was a cooler, a styrofoam cooler
back
with this stuff
strap.
in it, and I'm telling you, it got stolen
Mm.
so many times. And it's so, I guess the goal is to be the first person, the number one person, or the last person. Not really sure, but if you're somewhere in the middle, I mean, it just depends.
That's how you end up with a lifetime supply of duct tape.
Yeah, I mean,
Because somebody bought like a 12 pack and they're like, here you go.
I don't know. I don't. We have some really good gifts. I mean, I
Yeah.
will have to say we have a lot of fun with it for a good hour and a half, and we usually do that combined with just bringing like snack food, like junk food. We all bring different types of food, and we set it up in the conference room, and everybody makes a plate, and I mean, it's a fun time.
Like a community thing.
It is. I
Yeah.
mean, you and I went to a wedding, kind of not really changing gears, but switching into a different subject. We went to a wedding yesterday afternoon. A
Hmm.
colleague of mine, a coworker of mine, got married. She is like my work daughter. I mean, this crowd that I'm working with, and I've only been with Nucor almost 5 years. This crowd is a lot younger than I am, and I don't know if what it is about me and them, but I've kind of taken on the mother hen with position with them. They are like my children. I absolutely love working with them. We all joke that work is like a dumpster fire 4.5 days out of 5 because it's so chaotic at times, and just different things going on. But the people is what keeps me from, and I jokingly tell my supervisor at least once a day that I'm going to jump off the cliff, and you better keep me from jumping off the cliff. And that's the running joke there is. But we love working with each other,
Hmm.
and that's what makes tolerating the dumpster fire every day worth it. But that's it. It is a family. It has to be in order for you to care about what you do,
Yeah.
I think. And
Well,
you spend more time with those people awake
yeah.
than you do with your own family.
And you don't realize it, but you're constantly problem solving situations. You're in stressful situations together. So there is sort of that trauma bond mentality of we've been through a lot, and you look out for me and I look out for you, and it is that same kind of like family type environment. Um, and I feel bad for people who work in places that are hostile where they don't have that kind of feeling. I've had that kind of feeling at my work. We go through a lot together and
Yeah.
we look out for each other and we get sentimental about each other if somebody's hurt or sick or whatever the situation is, death in the family or someone has a birth. You're like, oh my God, let me see the baby.
Yeah, I
Oh,
think you have to.
yeah,
A lot of people say you have to separate your personal life, your home life, and your work life. I disagree. There is, to me, and maybe it's the person that I am.
yeah,
It's hard. I don't separate those two. In order for me to care about what I do every day, I have to learn about the people that I've always
yeah.
put forth the effort to learn about the people, because what goes on in your personal life, whether you want it to or not, it affects your home life. I mean, it affects your work life.
Yeah.
It just does.
Well, and it's also good for them to know you because if something were to happen outside of work, you go, I need a minute. And they go, okay.
Yeah.
Because I mean, you need that. You need that kind of
Well, do you
shorthand.
think that's becoming more acceptable now that
Probably,
mental health has?
probably, and also going through, our global pandemic like we did, everyone had to be a little more open and honest with each other about
Yes.
things that were going on. Because at a moment's notice, it's like, hey, we've had some deaths in the family, or we've had people sick, or, mom didn't make it, or, things like that that just get said, and you're like, oh my goodness, how can I help?
But I mean,
Um,
I know I've been in the workforce since I was 8, before 18, but I mean, I've worked my whole adult life, and you can tell that mental health is talked about more and addressed more. I know that my company they take a very strong stance in the fact that if you need some time, you need, let us know. I
Yeah.
mean, they address the mental health of a person more so now than what it was 10 years ago.
Yeah. And maybe part of it is because of um I mean, we have a class that we have to watch on a computer that talks about workplace shooter events.
Yes.
I mean, that kind of stuff has happened more and more in society. And so it's one of those things where you go, okay, maybe I do need to check in with the weird guy in accounting or, whatever the situation is, someone who knows, oh, this person's going through a lot at home. Let me check in with them, make sure they're okay. I mean, it is important to do that in general. And it's really the right thing to do. I mean, we're both Christians and you kind of know that kind of thing where you go, I want to make sure everybody's okay because we're all in this together and we got
Yeah.
to figure this out together. And
I mean, I think it's great to work for a place where you feel comfortable. I know our place is. I can't speak for everybody's workplace, but our place is comfortable. It lets us be comfortable with walking away for a couple of seconds, minutes, and
yeah,
plopping down in somebody's office and saying, I need a minute. I
yeah,
just needed to walk away for a couple of minutes.
yep.
What's going, and I actually work at one end of the hall. I started off at one end of the hall in a different department. Now I have for the last 3 years, I've been at a different desk at the other end of the hall, but my coworkers are all still there. And I mean, I hear them from time to time, and somebody will just get up and walk into somebody else's office and be like, "Hi, Juz, I needed to walk away."
Hmm.
My desk happens to be the front office, the foyer, and some of them will come up there every now and then from the other end of the hall that I was in their department for a while, and they will be like, "I just needed to walk away. What's going on up here?" And it's not what's going on up here work wise. It's let's talk about something other than work for just a couple of minutes.
Yep.
And my work is extremely, I mean, they're behind that. They get that. Nobody's ever told, or like, get back to your office and get to work. We don't ever have to worry, because we all know that sometimes you just need to walk away, even if it's walk outdoors for a couple of minutes.
Do you think part of it is because of the way technology has sped up our lives? I mean,
What, that
we're
everybody
not.
needs to take a couple of minutes every now
Yeah,
and then?
because I mean, you got to think for the longest time, people, like you said, people would separate their home life and their work life. And when you went home, nobody could reach you. Like it was just your home. But now, because we have cell phones and computers,
And we have our email on
we
ourselves, that you're
we have
never
our
really
email.
off
Yeah, you're
from
never
work.
really off. You're expected to always be on. Like it's almost like your corporate expectation is, we can reach you and we expect to reach you at all times. And and then your family also does the same thing, because we constantly are calling each other and trying to reach each other for whatever's going on in our families. And it's almost like your attention span is made to morph the world more. So we all get like overstimulated.
Yeah, I think the fact that you're exactly right on the fact that we're always on
Yeah.
that email, and everybody chooses something to do something different. I mean, I know people that work where I work, some of them have company phones. So, they're that's different. You're expected to be on
Yeah.
24/7. I do not have a company phone, but I choose to put my work email on my phone. For me, it's actually for my mental health. And I know that probably sounds odd, but when I'm on vacation, let's just say, for instance, when I take off, I I keep up with my emails to a certain extent. Now, you have some people that absolutely will not touch their email, even if they have it on their phone. When they're off, they're off. They don't pay attention to anything that has to do with their email. I'm just the opposite, and it's for my own mental health.
Yeah.
There are some emails that I can keep cleaned up, and I don't do it. I try hard not for it not to take away from my vacation. But at the end of the day, if you and I are somewhere enjoying our day off, if at the end of the day, when we get ready to go to bed, if I lay there for a few minutes before I turn my phone off, if I can take those few minutes to clean up the email, because I stress if I were to walk in on a Monday after being off for a week to 1,000 emails, I would completely lose it. Where if I clean it up enough to know, because let's face it, we all get emails that you automatically delete.
Hmm.
That's the way it is. That's
Well, like
even in our own personal.
corporate notes about
Right,
so
exactly.
and so's birthday today. Like, I
So
don't,
if there's
whatever.
things I can keep cleaned up so that when I
Yeah.
walk back in on Monday, it's a more, I feel like I'm not already overwhelmed.
Yeah.
It helps my mental health. And everybody is different when it comes to
I
that.
would think it would hurt your mental health a little bit because like let's just say you're on vacation. You can't really enjoy the vacation as much because part of your brain is still back at work. And you and
I
you're
don't
not
know.
you're not giving yourself that moment to take a deep breath and go. I mean, we did a vacation to Grenada and to St. Lucia, and those were opportunities where you were like, and my phone is off now.
Yeah, also too when we went to Jamaica earlier this year,
Yeah.
because I can't remember, I did something wrong. I think I had changed my password at work. Anyway, I got no emails the whole week. But honestly, when you get, I stressed the more about what I was going to walk back into. And like I said, I think it's how everybody personally maintains that within themselves.
Yeah, but then I worry that you're not present in the moment of enjoying the time
I
off.
don't think it matters if I'm
Like we're
stressed
getting
about what
ready.
I'm walking back into, or I'm actually looking at an email and I'm like, oh my God, what am I going to do about, this truck? Because
Would
I'm
it
in
be
logistics.
would it be different if you shared responsibilities with somebody as a job?
We do that already. We
No, no,
have
no. I'm
people to back us
saying
up.
if someone did the things that you know that we're going to do the way you do them,
Oh,
and
that's not going to
you were
happen. Ain't
like, and
nobody as
now I
good as
can.
I am. No, I'm just kidding.
I mean, I feel the same way. Especially with some of my responsibilities right now. Like we're looking at vacation time, and I'm going, are these things going to get done while I'm gone?
but
And I'm like, but I can't do them
but
away
now
from work.
on the same topic, does that not make you better at your job? I don't know. I mean, my last review, one of the things I told my boss when we were talking was I like knowing that I make a difference.
Yeah,
I like knowing that when I'm not there, somebody is trying to cover for me and they are thinking to themselves or saying out loud, how the hell does she do this?
right. There's a certain
Because,
amount of pride in going, I
yes.
do a great job.
And I think that if you have a job where you are wide open the majority of your day,
Hmm.
which my job is that way. I hear you talk about yours. I don't know exactly what your day entails, just like you don't know what my day entails. But I mean, I don't think I could handle a job where I sat in an office and never did much at all. No interaction with a person,
Yeah.
much to speak of, just clicked and read emails. And I'm not that person.
Yeah, it's almost, I said to somebody the other day, I said, I kind of specialize in controlling chaos. I mean, I walk into whatever is handed to me and I go, okay, let's make sense of this. Let's organize it. I mean, and a lot of that comes from my relationship with you. When we got together, I was not that organized of a person, but you kind of like hammered into me, look, there's a way you can do things to make this a little easier. All you got to do is
Well,
prioritize
you're
things and put
patient.
things together. Yeah, but I wasn't. Um,
Yes, well, yeah,
it
you were.
it took a
I'm
lot.
not.
It took a lot of prayer. Listen, patience is all because of God. I had nothing to do with that. That was I prayed and 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 prayed. Lord, give me patience. Lord, help me learn patience. I wasn't really specific. I should have been more specific, but boy, did he test me and show me that I could be patient.
I'm not.
but
I'm not patient.
but it was a lot of chaos, and I guess early on, like even when I went in the Marine Corps, they said, "Hey, we're meeting on weekends to go run together and talk about our knowledge, and because you're going to be quizzed on this stuff when you go to boot camp, and I want you to be prepared." And I said, "I'll be prepared no matter what." And he was like, "What?" I go, "You take people off the street to do this." I said, "Trust me, I learn better on the fly. You throw me in the middle of it, and I'll learn everything." He was like, "Okay," and I did. I learned it. But it is at a detriment. It is at a high stress level. How many times have you seen me on the couch going, I just got to wrap my stupid head around this? I mean, I got to somehow force my brain to do things it's not trained to do. But part of that comes from the organization part of it. And you taught me that. I mean, you know, I would say that one of the best things that I do is I'm a good communicator, but also I'm a good organizer. So the way I organize things helps me to be more successful. So that hopefully when I'm not there, I've already set up things in place so that everything runs as smoothly as possible. And if something falls apart, they go, well, normally Josh does this, but we got enough to get by till he gets back. I mean, that's sort of my bridge to that is I want to learn as much as I can, show as many people as I can, and walk away from it. And when I'm on vacation, have that moment to take a deep breath and go,
Yeah, I
look at
don't want
that
anybody to do my
sunshine.
job as well as I do
Look
it.
at that sun. Yeah, but also there's elements to it. Like there's the day to day operations of it. I want them to be able to rock and roll day to day operations. I don't want them to go, and now we have to sit on our hands for a week. No, no, no. Keep going. You're fine.
Yeah, I mean, business has to go on.
Right. But I want to make sure that other people know enough to keep the ball rolling if all were to fall apart. The big things, I can handle the big things. Like just wait till I get back for the big things. But these little things, you know. And I worry that sometimes you're on vacation and you're not fully on vacation. Like, especially when we're going to places like Disney, which is right around the corner. And I want you to be able to like experience it and just breathe
I do.
and not go, and what's on my email? You know what I mean?
I'm a little bit of both. I'm
Yeah.
a little bit. I mean, I
But
just
I
am.
worry
It's
that you're being pulled in too many directions. Almost like you know how Mrs. Incredible is Elastigirl because like a mom, you're spread in a lot of different directions. Your kids want your attention, the husband wants your attention, the work wants your attention, and you got to save the world. And you're going in all directions. And at a certain point, something's gonna fail, something's gonna fall apart, or so it would seem.
no. I think my mentality on that's changed. I realize that something's going to fall apart. I realize that I cannot save the world, and that comes with age.
Yeah,
It comes with age, and I
experience.
mean, and I tell the my children that I work with. I mean, because they're all a lot younger than I am. It's I tell them all the time. Trust me, the dumpster fire, what you think right now is just gonna change everything, or you're so bent out of shape because something's not going the way you want it to.
Hmm.
You will be okay.
Hmm.
It's going to be okay.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well,
that's my one thing to the people that I work with.
and maybe it is age, or with age is experience. We've had some crazy experiences, but maybe that experience has taught us that it everything will work out at some point, one way or another. It's going to work out because it
Right.
always does. And with that, I guess that's also where I get the patience from. Is I go, I've done things right and I've done things really wrong, and somehow it's all worked out.
Right.
So what do I know? I mean, all I can do is do my part and hopefully play some small part in this little group and organization, and we can kind of figure stuff out together. And much like this podcast, I mean, it's the conversations.
Yeah.
I think it's the bonding with those people. Like we got to bond yesterday over a wedding
Yeah.
of
And like I said, I walked away
of a
from that,
beautiful
or
group of
yeah.
people that were all about, just loving this couple, and you couldn't see a single person not tearing up in the eye when they
Yeah.
were up on the little platform there getting married
Yeah.
and saying their vows. And I mean everybody's
I mean, I don't know. I walked away from that with and not that I doubted it to begin with, because we've done Christmas parties here at our house
yeah,
where these people have come. And I mean, I love these people like their family.
yeah,
I mean, there's a couple, there's several, we're extremely close.
yeah,
There's some of us that are closer than others. And, we are just, they are my family. I mean, they're not even considered, I don't even consider them my work family anymore. There's some of these people that I talk to outside of work, whether it's through text messages, phone calls, that I am just as involved, if not more so, than with people in my family. And to me, that's what makes going to work every day tolerable. I mean, I will have to say that I don't dread the clock going off at 5:30 every morning, because
right.
I am I going to walk into a dumpster fire most of the time? Yes. Am I going to get aggravated and tell my boss, you better come talk me down off this ledge because I'm getting ready to jump? Yes. But at the end of the day, whenever I do what I did yesterday with those people, I realize that that's why I go back every day. And I think that comes with age.
Yeah,
When also, too, when you get at the point in your life where, I mean, I think you and I both have realized through some hardship of having a job. I mean, I've had jobs before where I put everything that I possibly had into it. And then on a conference call, get cut with 14,000 people
Yeah.
and landed on my feet. I mean, at
Yep.
my age, I have realized that
And you're
I'm
still rocking and rolling, and they're out of business.
right.
So
I mean, I have realized that I'm going to give it my all.
Yeah.
And if something happens, it will be
It'll be
okay.
fine.
It
Yeah.
will be okay. And I think you have a totally different mentality when you realize that.
Yep.
But I also think that
You've been through it enough times where you
right.
know, as
It
long
takes
as you stay true to you, you're still going to end up on top.
right.
Because, like you said, there was a guy one time that told you, I don't want you to be the best, and I don't want you to be the worst. I want you to be the middle. And you're like, have you met me? I am going to be the best no matter what, because that is who I am. And you're right. That's exactly who you are.
Yeah. I mean, I'm going to give it all I've got.
Yeah.
That's just the way I am on anything that I do.
Right.
I mean, those Christmas presents are going to be wrapped in different paper with matching bows and name tags.
And we go full circle.
That's
I like
just
it.
because it's just the way I am.
I like it. She found a way to make it all full circle. See, this is what you have to stay for the whole podcast to get the ending. That's the quality stuff right there, man.
Oh, we're not ending just yet because
Oh, no,
we've
no,
got
we're not
one
ending,
more
we're not
thing
ending,
for
we're not
sure that we've got to talk about.
So like I said, I'm a little jealous because you got to go to Columbia and see Pink.
I did Wednesday evening. And honestly, I was not really sure. Well, for starters, the first 3 days of the week were just
Busy.
hell on wheels at work. It's like I tell people at work, I'm not traumatized when I leave work. I'm dramatized when I leave work. But when I left there on Wednesday, because I was leaving a little bit early and just trying to get so many things done, I think I drove almost all the way to Columbia with two girlfriends and said very little because I was just trying to recover from the day. But we got checked into our hotel, what's the name of that where the Gamecocks play basketball?
I think it's the
Columbia.
Coliseum.
I'm not sure, some kind of arena.
I don't know.
Anyway, it's where the Gamecocks play basketball in Columbia. That's actually where the concert was at. We were walking distance. We were like less than a mile was where our hotel was. So we had decided to walk, grabbed us some dinner, went on to the concert, and it was, I didn't know what to expect. I'd heard that Pink puts on an amazing show. I wouldn't say going into it that I knew a lot of her songs. I knew the popular ones that everybody hears.
Colonial Life Arena.
There you go. That place. I knew her main big hits, Get the Party Started, things like that. I know for a fact she's been around for a while. I do remember seeing her when she was younger, when she first got started, how she, got started dating the like a motocross guy. She's actually married to,
what was his name? Hart?
No, yeah, Carey Hart.
Carey
Hart. She's married to. He was actually in the crowd. He was in the crowd. So wasn't really 100% sure when we walked into the arena. Somebody else opened for her. The person that opened for her, I had never heard of. She's a country singer. I think her name it's Maren, like Karen, but Maren.
Maren Morris?
Yes, that's who opened for her.
Okay.
And I think Pink does like different artists open for her. I want to say at one point in this tour, Sheryl Crow opened for her. But we had this Maren Morris is who opened. Apparently Pink travels with this guy that's a DJ.
She's won Grammy Awards.
Yeah, she's popular in country, but I will admit I don't listen to a lot of country music.
You played a couple of her songs, or you played a song, and I was like, I know that song.
Yeah. I recognize one of her songs.
Yeah.
But when I will have to say, when I walked in, I was very underwhelmed with what the stage looked like.
You were like, I thought it was gonna be more.
I did, because whenever this first person was singing, she sung for about an hour. This Maren Morris, and there was just two what I thought were small screens on either side of the stage, and I thought, okay, this is different. I expected Pink to be, I wouldn't say on the lines of Taylor Swift, and don't get me wrong,
but a big production.
I've never seen Taylor Swift live. I did see the movie twice. loved it. And I was picturing massive video screens, those kind of things. I didn't see any of that. But
That's the kind of stuff you see when you go to a Burt Kreischer concert.
well,
He has big giant television screens that just
well, so does Pink. You just don't see them to begin with.
Okay.
So we it took a while. I was we this concert started at 7:30, and I want to say it was probably not until after 9 o'clock when Pink finally took the stage. But holy crap, it was the freaking most amazing concert I have ever been to. Totally different in the sense that I've been to concerts before. I've heard a lot of good artists, but just the excitement of, I think her tour was called something
Trustfall. I mean, she had Trustfall up on the stage on either side.
Well, on either side of the stage, up top was this gigantic mouth, like a pair of lips. And you do not know whenever you're sitting there looking at them until she gets ready to perform that they actually move. And when she started, I can't remember, it's something carnival. It's like it's actually a carnival is what's going on stage. And she starts off at the very top of the arena on a bungee type cord. And she is sitting up there singing, and she opens with "Get the Party Started," and then she falls straight down.
This epic summer carnival tour.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what it was. I mean, she had a lot of people on stage with her. It was awesome. It was the most awesome thing I've ever seen.
Well, you showed me video of her on the trapeze thing where it was strapped so that she could go around the entire arena.
That was toward the end.
Above everybody while she's doing flips and singing. Yes. And you're showing me video and you're like, it looks like it's not a lot, but you were like, but there's stuff going on everywhere around you.
You know, I've always thought that she has a tremendous voice.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, she is a good singer. She has, but just seeing it live, she has the most incredible vocal
range
capacity that I have ever seen on anybody.
Yeah.
She doesn't sing quietly. She belts out everything at the top of her lungs.
Yeah.
All I could think of was, how the hell is she doing this for 2.5 hours?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it was great. She had the crowd into it. She was very personable. I've never been to a concert where the artist actually stopped what she was doing or stopped what they were doing and spoke to people in the crowd.
Oh.
She definitely picked out children. There was one child there that I guess was holding up a poster, and we had really good seats, but we were not on the floor. But there was somebody that had a poster that was like, "I'm celebrating my 10th. This is my 10th birthday." She stopped. I mean, she was actually mid-song and she saw the poster and she stopped. And you can tell she loves children. And, you know, she did a great job. She signed several autographs. I mean, she was wearing those stacked heels, which I can appreciate because I'm 4'11". She must not be very tall. I've never looked to see how tall she is. But, I mean, she would come out there and dance and carry on in those stacked heels and then just reach over, down, unzip one, kick it off, and then kick off the other one. And she's like, screw it, I'm going barefooted. And, I mean, she was just very personable. Yeah. Everybody got the sense of who she was in just those 2.5 hours.
Yeah. Well, and also, you know, being a touring musician like that, you got to imagine that it gets kind of lonely. Like you are the center of attention, but also you kind of want to connect with people. And I guess, you know, she's older now. She's in her 40s, and I'm sure that part of her thinking is, you know, the biggest thing that I like about this is the fact that people have reached out to her and said, I connect with you because of the song. And we saw that on that little documentary thing that we watched when we were in New Orleans.
Well, also too, there's several people in her band that's been with her for 24 years.
Yeah.
So if she's early 40s, then she's been performing and performing half her life already.
Right. Yeah. And I'm sure it's one of those things where she realizes, hey, a big part of who I am is bonding with these people, but also I need to do my part and bond more with them, because it does matter, and you want to give everybody the best performance because you want them to come back. I call it the Disney effect. You know, one of the things Disney does really well is they make it so memorable for you, and they give you every opportunity to share your experience with other people because you become their commercial.
Yeah,
You become
most
the
definitely.
testimonial of, hey, you need to go see this because it's incredible. And the artists who get that, I mean, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, that is it
But I
makes a
mean, she, like I
difference
say,
for the
she did all of her own music. She did some Pat Benatar, which was incredible.
yeah.
I mean, because her voice is a lot like Pat Benatar's, and me being a kid of the 80s, or I
Oh
was, you know,
yeah.
my teenage years was the 80s, the early 80s. And I mean, just the crowd was so into it. But the whole this gal is just in the most incredible shape of her life to be able to do what she does, flying over the audience and singing at the top of her lungs the whole time. I have no idea how she does it.
Yeah.
I mean, I think several other artists have kind of adapted or kind of, I don't know, maybe copied her. We saw Carrie Underwood, and she did the whole thing where she rode from like one part of the arena into the center of the arena
In
on
like the ring thing.
in the yeah, but she
Yeah.
moved very slowly, you
Oh
know,
yeah.
and
Yeah.
sang, which was awesome. I mean, the fact that she
I
did
know,
that,
and that was a great concert all on its
it
own,
was.
but
But
yeah.
then watching what Pink does,
Uh-huh.
where she is doing the, you know, the acrobatic type stuff that she does. There was one that she did with kind of like what you would see at Cirque du Soleil.
Hmm.
There was no, she was not clipped into anything.
With the sash.
Yes,
Yeah.
she was actually holding her own body weight up with those the sash thing that she had wrapped around her. And the other times, you know, she was definitely clipped in.
Yeah.
But I was just completely just mesmerized about, and then nobody in that arena sat down from the time she started until she finished.
Well, we watched that documentary about her touring and the way they were setting up that trapeze thing for her, and how when they started it, she had a fall
Yeah.
because something wasn't rigged up right. And
But I can only imagine that happens more often than you would
yeah,
think.
but I mean, you could tell that they were really putting a lot of thought and care into wanting to give people the best show because they're like, hey, people have money invested in this.
Mm-hmm.
It's sort of like not to take it back to Bert Kreischer, but he said something about he bought his daughter Isla an iPad one year for Christmas, and she was like, how many shows did you have to do to buy me this iPad? And he was like, well, I mean, I make a pretty good living, so I mean, like 10 minutes. And she was like, okay, how many people bought tickets? How many people bought tickets for that show that they had to get a babysitter? They had to get a hotel room for out of town. How much money did it cost to buy this iPad for that one person to spend all that money to buy a ticket? She goes, that's the part that I think about every time that you come home and you give us a gift or we get to go somewhere is we think about how much all of those fans gave of their lives so that I could sit here and have an iPad. And it's that thankful mentality of realizing that everybody in that crowd is there because they appreciate what you do. So you kind of have a responsibility. You want to give them the best. And she was really in that documentary talking a lot about how she wanted to give everybody the best
Yeah.
experience because there was so much of their lives tied into that moment. And she's like, I've got no right to go out there and perform if I'm not giving them every ounce of what they came to see. And so, I mean, that's why, if she's under the weather or something, she has to cancel and say,
Yeah.
hey, I've had
Well,
to
there's no doubt
cancel.
if she's under the weather, there's no way she could perform the
Right.
way she
Yeah.
performs.
Because it's not only
It's
is it
so
physical,
physical.
but just the cardio of being able to sing while you're upside down and swinging around and
Yeah.
that's so much of it.
But now this was my Christmas gift from a friend. A really good friend of mine. She gave this She gave this concert ticket to me and another friend of mine. There's three of us that are.
Yeah, I'm not hurt by it. It's okay.
Yeah. But I mean, it was an experience.
Yeah.
To me, that is more of a gift than buying somebody
Another cup.
right. I mean, that's the one thing I would like that I want to try to do a better job of is not giving tangible, not giving a solid like a gift, like something that you can hold in your hand and
Yeah.
stick in the corner or in the closet or basement or attic. I want to try to do a better job of giving it an experience. You and I already don't exchange gifts.
Right.
We went into this day one, and I want to say maybe our first couple of years together, we did do the whole gift giving thing for birthdays and Christmas.
But
and to me,
it was a guessing game.
It's a waste of money.
It's a waste of money
because you are constantly already stressed out most women are with Christmas
Yep.
because they're buying for children, they're buying for in-laws, they're
Yep.
buying for parents.
And when you're starting a family with small children, you're financially strapped,
Right.
you're
And then
stressed
you're
over
already, and
money.
then you're thinking about what am I going to buy for my spouse?
Right.
I,
Last year I went pretty big. How do I top that?
yeah. So
And it's like, why
we
are you
decided
topping
early
it?
on to stop, to not do that at all.
Right.
We use that money for vacations.
Yeah.
It's just something that we've done.
I'm not regretted it.
I don't regret it. It does not bother me a bit to know that I don't have to go into a store or go online and try to find something for Father's Day or something for your birthday.
Right.
You and I don't do, or our anniversary. We do not do that. We haven't done that in years.
Yeah.
And I would 10 times do that over to be able to have some of the vacations that we've had, or to be able to afford to give our friends tickets to go to concerts and things like that. And I want to try to do a better job of creating and giving an experience instead of giving a gift, a tangible wrapped something that they can hold in their hand.
Yeah.
Because that was on Wednesday. And like I said, going into it, I was not knowing what to expect. I was tired. Work has been really busy. But ever since I walked out of that arena, and I was just cheering and carrying on like everybody else was and blown away. Ever since then, all I have been singing over and over in my head are Pink songs. So, it's definitely something that it was a fantastic gift. And like I say, Cheryl gave that to me and Lori for Christmas. And oh my God, it was amazing. And as we were sitting there, and I can't remember if it was when we were sitting there or maybe it's whenever we walked out. And you're already hopped up because for the last 2.5 hours, you have been standing on your feet, clapping and cheering and singing along with her. And, we walked out into the colder weather because it was warm in the arena. We all had on short sleeves, but we had a little bit of a walk back. But we were very, what's the word? We were very energized. We were hopped up.
Yeah. You had a shared experience with a whole bunch of people.
But she timed it perfect in the sense that we walked out of the doors and kind of like the cold air hit us.
Face. Yeah.
And she said, "Merry Christmas, ladies." And it was like, that was perfect. I couldn't have asked for a better gift from somebody. And, and Lori's done that to, Lori actually is how I got to see Elton John.
Yeah.
And Journey. So I want to do a better job of coming up with experiences for my friends and family than buying a something, a trinket, something like or a cup.
Yeah. Please stop buying us cups. No cups, no ornaments. Knock it off. No t-shirts. I got plenty of t-shirts. Anyway, so
but yes, if you get the opportunity to go see Pink,
I'm super jealous that you got to see Pink.
Yep.
And Journey and Elton John. And yeah, it's cool that you get to do that though with your friends and get to have that experience. Because I know that I should do that kind of stuff more often. I should plan stuff for us to do like that more often.
Well, now last year we gave our friends, there was 6 of us that went. We saw earlier this year. Was it earlier this year that we saw? Yeah, yeah. We gave it in Christmas last year, and we saw Toto and Rick Springfield.
Oh yeah,
here in Florence. Actually, we gave them that.
Yeah,
and we all went as 3 couples went, and we had a blast.
Yeah, yeah, but to me, it's important to me that you're doing this with your friends, because I worry that sometimes you get burdened by responsibilities of the family and of work and of kind of keeping everybody together. Your pa said it, you're the matriarch of the family. And there's moments where you just need to be a girl having fun with her friends.
Yeah.
And that's great. And I'm happy for you. You definitely needed it. Needed a little break. And couldn't answer any emails.
Couldn't answer any emails at all in the arena because the service sucked.
I just went full circle on you. Ha 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 ha. That's how that works.
That's it. That's exactly how that works.
All right. I'm gonna wrap this up. I do want to thank you for joining me on the podcast once again. A lot of people have said they really enjoy hearing us together, and I like hearing us together. I married you because you're my favorite person to talk to. So, thank you for doing this. And
you're welcome.
You want to?
I enjoy it. No, you can end it. You go right ahead.
Okay.
Please end it better than you started it.
Okay. So
As your producer.
please remember to rate, review, subscribe, share this with your friends, and as always, cue the cow.
Cue the cow. Moo, baby.